You're listening to Tutor Time with Mallory, and now for your host, Mallory Latouche.
And welcome back to Tutor Time with Mallory. Today I had the honor of interviewing Dr. Evan Duff. How are you today?
I am doing well, Mallory. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you. What is your education background?
So I attended a small private college here in North Carolina. I started actually at UNCW, but after my freshman year, transferred to Mount Olive College, which is now the University of Mount Olive, and actually went in their weekend program. I was working full time, got married fairly young, so went to their weekend program to finish my bachelor's degree, and then later attended Central Michigan University. They actually had a satellite campus at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in Goldsboro. So I could go to class on the weekends. It was open to civilians as well as military. So I went there on the weekends to get my master's in administration, and then later attended Nova Southeastern University, which was a hybrid program to complete my Doctor of Education.
How did you know you wanted to become a president for a college?
It's funny because that was not my first career choice. I think a lot of times people go through career exploration throughout their life and maybe dabble in multiple industries or career fields, which was my case. I worked for a credit union. I worked for a global call center. But at some point I went through kind of a fork in the road to really think about what I wanted to do in life. And so higher education was one of those things. And I started my higher education career at Lenore Community College as a coordinator, and then later went to work for Mount Olive College, and then Wesleyan, North Carolina Wesleyan College. And it was probably when I became the vice president of adult education here at North Carolina Wesleyan College that I was thinking about in the future what those next steps would be. And maybe just a little bit before that, and think about the steps it would take to become a president. And then almost 10 years later, 8 years later, that became the case here at Wesleyan.
What was it like getting your bachelor's degree at Mount Olive?
That was a great experience. Again, I was not a traditional student attending their traditional campus. I attended on weekends and specifically on Saturday mornings. And so I was surrounded with mature adults who were in their, the midpoint of their careers. Mount Olive provided an excellent opportunity for working adults to go to school. But it did require some juggling. I was working full time, I was married, and balancing a full-time academic schedule. But it always pays off when you put in the hard work and the time, and it's just managing your calendar a little bit more effectively.
What was it like going to Central Michigan to get your master's of administration?
That was very similar. It was essentially an all-day Saturday, all-day Sunday event at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in Goldsboro every other weekend for about 12 to 13 months. And it was excellent. We had professors from all over the country, from major universities such as Georgia State, Florida State, and it was a great experience to be exposed to a number of different professors from other areas. And again, being in the classroom with working adults who were going through life and going through similar things that I was going through was important to be successful.
What was the feeling when you obtained your doctorate degree in education and became a doctor in education?
That was exciting. I think when many people, regardless if it's their bachelor's or master's or doctoral program, they always hit these moments where it feels a little overwhelming, or they're not sure they can do it. And that's why it's important to have a strong support system around you to get you through those moments. And I had those moments in that Doctor of Education program, and there were many times where I was not sure I'd finish. but you put the time and effort in, the energy in, and I remember to this day when I was sitting at the computer and I got the email stating that I had successfully finished the program, that they had accepted my dissertation, and that I was qualified for graduation. And it is a moment that I'll never forget.
What was it like going to Nova Southern to earn your doctorate degree in organizational leadership?
Yeah, Nova Southeastern University was an awesome program. Part of their program was coming to Florida a couple of times and working directly with mentors and faculty, and then also completing work online. And back in 2007, while it was popular, it's certainly not as popular as it is today. So I still look at that as maybe some of the pioneering days of earning your degrees through hybrid methods or online methods. But while some would consider that to be a challenge in some ways, I thrived in that environment, had great mentors there. It did not feel different than what I had experienced in a traditional setting or a face-to-face setting. So it was a great program, and I was lucky that I actually worked with a colleague who was going through the program with me. So it was great to have that support structure with someone going through the program with me.
How was it like going to NC State and being born and raised in North Carolina?
Yeah, so the NC State connection is interesting in that I didn't go there for a curriculum program or a credit hour program. They actually offered a certificate for working professionals in social media management. And it was, once a week, I think late afternoons for about a semester. And it was really honing in on a very specific skill set with social media management. And it was a great opportunity. Growing up in North Carolina, you're familiar with all of the major schools: NC State, UNC, Duke, ECU. And of course, I went to UNCW briefly. So those institutions have brand awareness. They are juggernauts in the state for what they do for higher education. So it was certainly great to learn from an institution that is so well respected.
How did you manage to balance 4 universities, receiving 3 degrees and 2 certifications?
Again, it comes back to that time management. As I stated earlier, I was married. I have 4 kids and worked full time during all of that experience. And yes, that meant giving up some social life activities. That meant staying up until 2 a.m. to write a paper if needed. It meant making sacrifices with being able to spend time with my family. But you make those sacrifices because you know the end result will lead to a better life, better opportunities. And I'm just thankful that I had a very supportive family that stood by me in those times of late night papers and reading and going to classes. And so again, I can't speak highly enough about how important it is to surround yourself with a good support structure and system when going through something like that.
What was it like returning to your alma mater in 2005 to be the Dean of Extended Education?
That was great. I had a great experience with Mount Olive College, and being able as an alum to go back and help grow their adult program. I oversaw initially their Washington, North Carolina location, and then eventually oversaw all of their locations where they had extended or satellite locations for working adults. And to be able to support and help adult students to attain their bachelor's degree just brings a lot of meaning to me, and to be able to do it for my alma mater was an excellent experience.
What What was the transition like from going from UMO to NC Wesleyan to become the interim provost in 2012?
So it started initially as the VP of Adult Education in 2011, and this really gave me an opportunity to sit on the president's cabinet here at North Carolina Wesleyan College, which I did not have that opportunity with Mount Olive, and it helped me not only to grow into opportunities to be interim provost and full-time provost and then eventually president, but it started with me doing exactly what I love doing, and that was creating partnerships with community colleges and offering adult students, working adults, the opportunity to attain their education while maintaining their work life and their family life, much of what I experienced as a working adult. And being at North Carolina Wesleyan College, that gave me an opportunity to enhance that throughout the state. And we grew tremendously between 2011 and present date with our community college partnerships, offering baccalaureate programs all over the state, and just helping those working adults. The provost, as moving into provost, the role, I was given an interim opportunity in 2012 and then became the full-time provost in 2016, allowed me to see the other side of education. So primarily up until that point, I had not worked with traditional students. It was primarily working adult students. So the provost position allowed me to really experience working with traditional students here in Rocky Mount and growing academic programs and working with our dedicated faculty to do some amazing things with our students and to transform them throughout their journey here at Wesleyan. And it was just an exceptional experience, which certainly prepared me for when I was given the opportunity to become president.
How was it like being the senior vice president of academic affairs in 2016?
Yeah, so that's when the provost role, the interim role, and from 2012 that became permanent or more permanent. And again, it allowed me to work with faculty to develop new programs. It allowed me to enhance student services for our traditional students and our adult students. Being the provost and VP of academic affairs allowed me to kind of work with both populations of students and just to create a unique experience for students who chose North Carolina Wesleyan College as their college choice to expand their degrees and to move on into their next, their career after they finish, and just make this the best possible experience for them.
What was the feeling like when you became the interim president of NC Wesleyan College and then in 2020 becoming the president?
Yeah, it really stacks up there to where to when I received that email from from Nova Southeastern about my dissertation and degree being completed. It was a surreal moment to get that call and to be asked that. It's a humbling experience to know that the Board of Trustees here, the faculty, staff, and students trust me to kind of lead them to the next phase of the college and to really just bring structures together to enhance what we're doing. And it's a great responsibility, and it's something that I don't take lightly, and it's something that I make sure that my family is a part of that journey because I think that's important. But it is essentially about having the opportunity to really create opportunities for diverse students, for international students, for transfer students, and for those adult students who are geographically bound. They can't travel to Rocky Mount to finish their degree, and just to provide them with options to further their education.
What are your roles and responsibilities as the president of NC Wesleyan College?
So one major role is to make sure we are financially sustainable. And so that comes with working with a wonderful group of people to ensure that we're making wise financial decisions. It is making sure that I help others to see the vision of what we're doing. Those who want to donate and provide financial resources to the college so that we can construct academic classrooms, so that we can build new programs, so that we can invest in our faculty, staff, and students. So helping other people see that vision and want to be a part of that vision. It is advocating for the things that we need with our community and our board of trustees, coming up with creative ideas to work with our constituencies regarding, should we offer this new graduate program? Should we develop a school of nursing? Just all the different things that you would potentially consider as a higher education institution. And probably most importantly is ensuring that working with other peers and colleagues to ensure that we have regional accreditation, which we have, and we were just reaffirmed accreditation through 2030 with the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. And so making sure that we meet those high standards for accreditation to ensure we're delivering a solid product.
How have you been able to balance your family life and being the president of a 4-year private college?
It's really about bringing them along for the ride. So I have 4 kids that their ages range from 12 to 19. My oldest son is actually a student here at North Carolina Wesleyan College and loves his experience here. My other 3 are in high school and middle school, and it's just helping them to be connected. It may mean a Thursday night coming with me to a baseball game or a basketball game on campus. It could be my wife coming with me to a community event, but it's just making sure that they are connected and part of the process versus me just being away from them when I have obligations with the job, and just helping them to be a part of it.
What have been some of your accomplishments as president of NC Wesleyan College?
Yeah, the last 3 years, we have really completely overhauled our budget and finance process. We have operated extremely well over the last 3 years from that perspective. Our accreditor, as well as our financial institutions that we are partnered with, are very pleased with our progress. We've had donors step up in extraordinary ways. We've built what we call our indoor sports and education facility, which is a 48,000 square foot indoor tennis court, squash court, as well as it houses our exercise science and health promotion academic programs and the lab space they need for their students, completely donor funded. And that was almost a $3.5 million project that someone stepped up and handled and took care of. We also are breaking ground in March for what we call our Shaw Learning Center, which will be 4 additional classrooms, office space, and interestingly enough, the donor who funded that was very specific about the care and health of felines. So there will actually be a cat lounge built into this facility, giving students the opportunity, especially pre-vet students, the opportunity to care for these felines and to have a space that kind of brings them away from the stress of maybe everyday academic life, to have a moment to just sit and relax and spend time with some cats that we'll end up adopting as part of that process. But very unique opportunity, again, completely donor funded. And we've added new programs. We have an RN to BSN, which is a registered nurse to Bachelor of Science in Nursing program that is 100% online for registered nurses. We are working on some other new programming, a master's in public health. Our faculty are currently working on that may be available in 2023. So just a lot of exciting things of all of us kind of coming together, working together to provide new opportunities for students and our community.
What are some of your future goals as president of NC Wesleyan College?
I think it's to, we have a 5-year strategic plan that runs through 2025, and it's really about shoring up our processes to make sure that we're offering the best student services possible. We're providing one-on-one mentoring opportunities for all students. We're providing career resources and career opportunities from day one when a student becomes a student with us and matriculates. And it's just providing all the structures in place to help our students, regardless if they're 18 or 60, to acquire the skills that they need to be successful in life and to be successful in their careers. You know, we plan to grow our traditional population a little bit, grow our adult population a little bit, but more importantly, it's making sure we have those positive learning outcomes for these students so that they can be successful in whatever they choose to do.
What credentials do you need to obtain to qualify as the role of president at a college or university?
Yeah, that is an interesting question because I think it has changed over the years. I think the traditional path, you know, 30, 40, 50 years ago was that someone typically had a doctorate degree, that they were faculty at some point, they moved into administration, and then they became a college president. It's very different now, depending on the college and what their mission is. I have seen ads where they're looking for someone that has business experience, that does not necessarily have a terminal or a doctoral degree. I've seen ads where they were really looking for someone with a law degree, because there's a lot of legal aspects to this position. So I've really seen it. I've seen college presidents that only have a bachelor's degree, but because of their other work-related experience, that's what the college was looking for at that particular time. So it really is all over the place. And, you know, if I were to talk with a freshman in college, or even speaking to a group of high school students or middle school students, and they said, well, that's something I would like to do. My advice would be to go as far in their education as possible. I do think that's extremely important, to pursue subjects and topics that they are interested in learning about. But probably most importantly is early on, get some job shadowing experience, have conversations with administration in higher education, and talk with them about their journey. And then those that have been extremely successful, try to mirror kind of some of the things that they've done in their life. And it's not just about education. Education is a big piece of it, but it's also about the other types of experiences you can put on your resume or make a part of your journey that will really prepare you for this job or any number of jobs in the world.
What advice would you give someone